What if the very first language wasn't spoken but seen? Imagine a form of communication so fundamental it spans from ancient campfires to the silent pulse of lasers crossing oceans. In this episode, we're exploring how light became humanity's oldest and newest language, shaping not just what we say, but how we express existence itself. Every civilization has spoken in light. From the flicker of torches across cave walls to the silent pulse of lasers crossing oceans, light has become humanity's oldest and newest language. It conveys survival, beauty, knowledge, and technology. It is the first thing we see and the last thing we remember in darkness. To study how we use light is to study how we express existence itself. The first signals. Long before words, light served as communication. Our ancestors read the world by illumination, the dawn's gold announcing safety, fire's glow promising warmth. When early humans discovered how to spark flame, they gained not only heat, but dialogue. A campfire was a sentence that could be seen for miles. We are here. Later, flickering beacons on hills transmitted messages across valleys. The ancient Greeks devised networks of signal fires to relay news of victory. To send light was to compress distance. To respond was to create civilization. Every discovery that followed refined that same impulse. Lanterns guided travelers across seas. Lighthouses turned steady beams into symbols of safe return. Even now, aircraft flashing in night skies and ships signaling through fog use codes of light as wordless reassurance. Our need to project meaning outward mirrors the cosmos's own habit of shining, information traveling as illumination. Light and writing. The invention of writing transformed visual language into permanence, but ink and parchment are themselves forms of captured light. Pigments reflect selective wavelengths. Gold leaf gleams with metallic reflection, a silent conversation between eyes and surface. Medieval illuminated manuscripts sealed knowledge inside metallic radiance. Letters themselves seemed imbued with divine fire. To read such pages by candlelight was to see thought become visible glow. Printing democratized that radiance. By reflecting identical symbols across endless pages, humanity began broadcasting with ink what once required flame. Later came photography, the literal writing of light, photography in Greek. For the first time, the world could describe itself with its own photons. No brush, no chisel, only light striking chemicals to inscribe moment upon matter. A photograph is time captured in illumination, every pixel a fossil of a passing ray. Science. Decoding the language. Modern science revealed that light carries an alphabet of its own. Through spectroscopy, astronomers learned that each element imprints unique lines on a spectrum. Those signatures are the words of stars, a vocabulary of hydrogen, helium, and heavier elements that tell of composition, temperature, and motion. By reading those patterns, we decode stellar chemistry across billions of light years, turning the cosmos into text. If you're finding this exploration of light's profound influence as illuminating as we are, consider hitting that subscribe button and joining us for more journeys into the universe's deepest connections. Every telescope, from Galileo's lens to the James Webb Space Telescope, reads this universal language. Infrared light whispers of dust clouds where new suns form. X-rays declare supernovae. Radio waves murmur the rhythm of spinning pulsars. Light is the courier of every astronomical truth, and we are its translators. Einstein extended the metaphor. Information itself rides on light's back. Through relativity, he showed that what we perceive as brightness also conveys the structure of space-time. The photon is both messenger and measure, grammar and syntax of the universe. When we pass its message, we learn geometry written in radiance. Art, expressing emotion through light. Parallel to science runs art, the emotional grammar of illumination. Painters have always shaped light to express meaning. In Rembrandt's portraits, shadow isolates the soul. Monet dissolved masses into vibrating brilliance. Turner's sunsets blur sea and sky into pure color. Each artist speaks a dialect of brightness and absence. In architecture, light carves space. Gothic cathedrals filtering divinity through stained glass. Modern museums guiding daylight through concrete like a prayer. Film became the 20th century's great poem of light. Cinematography turns photons into narrative cadence. A shadow across a doorway can imply fear, a glint on eyes intimacy. Every frame is choreography between brightness and meaning. Movies are literal languages of light structured over time. Stories told at 24 flashes per second. Photography and cinema trained humanity's vision to read nuances once ignored. The golden hour before dusk, the reflection in a puddle, the silent eloquence of a backlit silhouette. Through them, we learn to see not just with eyes, but with memory. Light as grammar of emotion. In the 21st century, we converse entirely through light. Optical fibers thread continents, carrying almost all digital communication as pulses of laser light. Inside them, information travels only slightly slower than in vacuum, our thoughts racing along glass veins under oceans. The internet itself is a vast circulation of photons translating consciousness into code. These pulses recall the fires of antiquity, still blinking messages through darkness, though infinitely faster. Where once light meant presence, now it means data. Streams of 1 and 0 encoded in amplitude, frequency, and phase. Human language has merged with light completely. Every image, sound, and idea that crosses a digital line is a modern form of photonic speech. Quantum communication pushes the metaphor further. Entangled photons share single informational states across distance, making eavesdropping physically impossible. Here, light becomes not just carrier, but guarantee of truth, a channel where the universe itself enforces honesty. In such technologies, we hear the evolution of language converge with the evolution of physics. Color as syntax. But if light has become the very fabric of our communication, from ancient signals to quantum entanglement, what happens when we lose sight of its true nature? What are the hidden costs of our constant illumination, and how does our mastery of light risk blinding us to the very wonders it reveals? Color is the vocabulary that makes light emotional. Each wavelength affects perception differently. Red quickens pulse, blue slows it, green soothes, violet suggests distance. Cultures assign additional meanings. White for purity in one tradition, mourning in another. Designers use these associations instinctively. Cities pulse with neon rhetoric. Digital screens translate passion into RGB hieroglyphs. When a theater dims to black before performance, the absence of light prepares the audience to listen, the silent punctuation of vision. The full spectrum becomes a universal grammar where physics meets psychology. Through it, humanity composes scenes, beliefs, and behaviors. Traffic lights command movement through color. Medical devices warn through blinking reds. Astronomers visualize invisible galaxies through translated hues. The syntax of color makes comprehension instantaneous, light speaking without translation. Morse, lasers, and beyond. In the 19th century, Samuel Morse realized that any form of light could transmit coded meaning through pattern. His simple dots and dashes flashed across signal lamps, telegraph wires, and even the early radio. Each pulse a syllable, each gap a pause. By alternating on and off, light began to speak binary centuries before computers. Lasers refined the idea into precision. The word itself, light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation, embodies the shift from natural illumination to engineered language. A laser beam is coherent, monochromatic, disciplined. It can etch metal, scan barcodes, play music, and measure planetary distances, all by varying timing and intensity. The sun paints by diffusion, the laser writes by focus. Such control transformed communication from broadcast to whisper. One beam, one receiver, perfect understanding. Light and memory. Every form of media, film reels, magnetic discs, solid-state drives, depends on light's interplay with matter. Optical storage literally inscribes code as microscopic pits on reflective surfaces. When a laser reads them, information resurrects. Memory, at its foundation, is reflected illumination. Even biological memory relies on electrochemical potentials driven by photons from the sun's energy. Plants capture information in growth rings. Humans capture it in data centers, humming with photonic nerve cells. The universe stores its autobiography in reflected light and shadows. Silence and shadow. The other half of the sentence. No language can exist without pauses, no light without darkness. Shadow is the punctuation that gives radiance meaning. Without night, the day would be unreadable glare. Artists know this inherently. Contrast creates comprehension. In photography, black defines white. In literature, metaphorical darkness defines insight. So too in science. Only because the cosmos holds voids can we see galaxies shine. Cultural myths preserve that equilibrium. Yin and yang, dawn and dusk, revelation and mystery. Light speaks, but shadow listens. To wield light is to wield influence. Governments display power through fireworks and electric skylines. Advertisers draw desire with glare. Activists reclaim darkness for the stars. Even in warfare and surveillance, light becomes language. Searchlights asserting control, lasers guiding precision. Technology demands morality. When every photon can encode persuasion, responsibility rests with the sender. The 21st century faces paradox. We drown in artificial light, yet hunger for authentic vision. Screens saturate existence, while true night, the sky of our ancestors, disappears. Astronomers warn that over 2/3 of Earth's population can no longer see the Milky Way. In losing darkness, we risk losing wonder, the primal conversation between curiosity and the heavens. Reclaiming that dialogue requires restraint. Conscious lighting design, protected night skies, and intentional pauses between illuminations may restore what constant brightness erodes, the ability to listen to silence between signals. To speak the language of light responsibly is to know when not to speak. The aesthetic future. Emerging technologies will extend photonic language even further. Holography already captures light's full spatial grammar, letting three-dimensional images float unseen until illumination strikes from the right angle. Augmented reality glasses merge photons from world and program into a shared syntax. Future communication may bypass words entirely, replacing them with patterns of light directly interpreted by neural implants, thought transmitted as radiance. Art will follow, as it always does. Instead of paint and sound, creators will sculpt photons, choreographing color, coherence and polarization to create experiences beyond speech. When that happens, language, art, and physics will converge in their purest form. Light shaping meaning without intermediary. Across cosmic distances, radio astronomers send deliberate light signals into space, hoping another intelligence might read them. These METI projects, Messages to Extraterrestrial Intelligence, use patterns of pulses encoded with mathematics, geometry, and chemical formulas. If another species exists, light will be our first common tongue. Whether they reply or not, the attempt affirms a profound truth. Communication is the will to shine outward. Light thus becomes the only medium that unites cosmos and consciousness. It bridges vacuum and mind, atom and idea. Whether bouncing off a mirror, glinting in an eye, or streaming through fiber optics, it reiterates one message across all scales: I am here. And when received, that light answers its own call: so am I. Epilogue. The continuing conversation. Somewhere in space, photons carrying information from ancient bonfires and our modern lasers travel side by side. They bear stories separated by millennia, but united by purpose. To reach someone, somewhere, should an observer catch those signals in the far future, they would read the history of a species that learned to speak in radiance. From star to retina, from code to comprehension, light remains the voice of existence itself, a universal language written not in ink or sound, but in the quiet, unstoppable brilliance that began with the universe and continues through every act of seeing. If you've been enlightened by the universal language of light, make sure to subscribe for more incredible journeys through the cosmos. And to continue your exploration of the universe's wonders, click on the video appearing on your screen right now.